In this concept map of human digestive system, we would focus on small intestine and large intestine. So as you can see from the stomach, you have the connection which is duodenum. Duodenum is a C-shaped structure which connects to the next, which is the jejunum, which is light in color, and the final dark in color is the ileum. Now this whole small intestine has relatively smaller diameter than the large intestine. The diameter of large intestine is greater than that of the small intestine, but a small intestine is usually around 5 to 6.25 meters long, in contrast to large intestine, which is around 1.5 meters long. So large intestine is relatively lesser in length, small intestine is more in length. Now the three parts of the small intestine are important, but before that we understand that in whole of the small intestine there are small circular folds. These circular folds are known as the walls of Kerckring. So walls of Kerckring is one of the terms, and another important term is plicae circularis. So either it is called as plicae circularis or wall of Kerckring. Those are the folds of the small intestine. Now coming on to duodenum. Duodenum, as we know, is a C-shaped structure, relatively the smallest part of small intestine. It has thin wall, it is short and is connecting directly the stomach. So here you have Brunner's gland which is present. We would understand intestinal glands in the next section. And this Brunner's gland empty into the crypt of Lieberkuhn. So if I go here, this is the structure of the small intestine. Now in this you have the Brunner glands here. Now these Brunner glands would empty into this region which is known as the crypt of Lieberkuhn, and these are simple structures which is present between the tubular structure. Argeftenin cells are there which secrete the secretin hormone. Then you have the globulate cells which secrete the mucus, and the panthen cells which are actually rich in zinc, so it is good for stomach, and they secrete lysosomes which are the suicidal bags. So small intestine, duodenum, the Brunner gland is important, and the secretions of the Brunner gland emptying into the crypt of Lieberkuhn, which is important. The next part is the jejunum. Jejunum is the middle part. This part is relatively thick, and because it is thick, it also has a higher diameter. So diameter is around 4 centimeters and the length is around 2.5 meters. The last part is ileum. Ileum is also, the word ileum means roll or coil, and this is considered as one of the longest part of small intestine, which is around 3.5 meters long and has a diameter of 3.5 centimeters. So the diameter is highest for jejunum. In comparison between ileum and jejunum, the diameter for jejunum is higher, and then small intestine becomes thin as it forms the part of ileum. So small intestine divided into three sections: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Ileum has what are known as clusters of nodules which are called as the Peyer's patch. So ileum has what is known as the Peyer's patch. So function of ileum again is important. Now all of these sections of small intestine have what are known as villi. These villi increase the rate of absorption on the surface. Why? Because there are increased folds. Now as soon as this end, there is a connection, and this is known as cesium. Cecum is the part which is around 6 centimeters long, and it leads to colon. Now colon is in three parts: ascending, transverse and descending colon. So colon has three important sections. The longitudinal bands which are present in the colon are known as the coli, and then there are small pouches which are present, and those are known as haustra. So haustra and coli are part of the colon structure. The colon opens into rectum which is around 20 centimeter long structure, finally into anus, which is around 2 centimeter and has an sphincter which controls the movement. It is the external and the internal sphincter which is related to it. So this was a quick recap of the small intestine and the large intestine. Now note, in the small intestine, as I mentioned, duodenum is important. It has the Brunner gland which opens into crypt of Lieberkuhn. Then in the case of jejunum, which is the middle part, it is relatively thicker than ileum. Ileum is what has the Peyer's patch. Then you have the cecum, which connects it to the colon. Colon is again divided into ascending, transverse and descending, and they have small pouches which are known as hostra and the longitudinal bands which are known as tenacoli. And if we talk about the glands in the intestine, it has the absorptive part, which is the villi, and the secretory part. So secretory part is the ergatephin cells and the penthe cells. Ergatephin cells secrete the secretin hormone, and penthe cells secrete the have the acidophilic granules and are rich in zinc. So they secrete lysosomes. Then in the absorptive part is the crypt of Lieberkuhn, globulate cells which are present, and they are actually having a higher number of folds which increases the absorptive capacity. So small intestine, the role of villi is extremely important. So some of the quick terms that we have understood under small intestine and large intestine, and the common questions that could be part of this section. So this was a quick concept map. We would be covering more quick concept maps like these for your biology section in the upcoming videos. Stay tuned.